Good morning. We interrupt your regular programming to bring you the latest in the movie theater tragedy. Suspected gunman James Holmes just appeared in court for the formal filing of charges against him. The judge not allowing cameras in the courtroom. We do have a courtroom artist there, and 7 News reporter Marshall Zellinger was inside the courtroom for the hearing. He joins us just outside. He just stepped out. Marshall, what happened today?
Mitch, James Holmes is going to face 142 counts for his alleged crimes outside the Aurora movie theater. I'm going to read these. 24 of them are for first-degree murder. 116 are for attempted first-degree murder. Then there's one count, it's a sentence enhancer for a crime of violence, and one count of possession of explosive devices. You're probably going to ask why 24 counts of first-degree murder with 12 victims killed and then the 58 hurt. If you multiply those by 2, I believe they're enhancers to enhance the penalty. We're going to have to get with a legal expert about why 24, though, but both of those numbers, 24 and 116, are twice the number of victims. Holmes walked into the courtroom at 9:27 a.m. He was wearing a red jumper. He had his hands handcuffed in front of him. His feet were also shackled. His hair, not so much reddish-orange anymore, but now orangish and yellow. It was matted down and kind of wavy. He did say one word in the entire 45-minute hearing. He said the word yes when the judge had him confer with his attorneys about waiving a certain amount of time that had to go by before his preliminary hearing. There were a lot of dates set in this hearing, but he said the word yes when the judge asked him if he understood that he was waiving his right to basically the speedy trial there. One other thing we learned in court today is that the felony complaint, the reason he's being held in the first place, which had been sealed, will be unsealed sometime today. So we'll be able to see what the DA's office has, basically the warrant as to why they believe he is the person that did this crime and is now facing 142 counts. Again, 24 first-degree murder, 116 attempted first-degree murder, 1 for a crime of violence, and that one other count for possession of explosive devices. Mitch?
Marshall, what was his demeanor like today? You know, in that first court appearance last week, it appeared at times he wasn't even sure what was going on. What did he look like today?
Well, he didn't have that sleepy or what some people were saying was a drugged look. He did lift his eyebrows kind of like this a few times. He stared at the judge a lot. When the judge was communicating with him, he looked at the judge. His eyes did get wide at times, but nothing really compared to what we saw last week. It was almost like a different person sitting in that chair. He was paying attention, looking at the judge, conferring with his legal team. He would look down from time to time, especially when the prosecution was talking, but it's kind of telling, and it's a shame that we couldn't have a camera to show people a visual difference of what he looked like now versus 1 week ago.
And Marshall, of course, we know a lot of the documents in this case are sealed, the police reports, the university court records. What can you tell us as far as that piece of this? We know there was an 85-page motion to unseal those documents. Was that discussed at all today?
It's tricky the way that worked out, because before the media attorney was heard on unsealing the entire court records, the judge dealt with the DA's office and the defense about unsealing certain documents, and they set a hearing for the first week of August, next week, to listen to that. However, the media attorney wanted to get involved to possibly speed that along, and the judge said that he's ready to hear it today, but he wants more discovery process by the DA's office to take place. The DA, we learned today, has to hand over some evidence to the defense team later this week. The judge wanted that to take place before he would listen to unsealing the entire court record. Some of what the defense is going to get this week is it deals with that doctor-patient privilege that we're hearing, that James Holmes was a psychiatric patient of Dr. Lynn Fenton, and this package that was found at the Anschutz campus last week should be privileged information protected by doctor-patient confidentiality. We learned from the DA's office that there are 2 videos that were captured in collecting that evidence. One from the Adams County Bomb Squad as they went into the mailroom at the Anschutz campus and collected that evidence. There's another video, a 10-hour surveillance video from the University of Colorado at the Anschutz campus of the mailroom itself. What the DA's office doesn't know, they say they haven't watched this video yet. The defense is concerned that any part of this video may capture some of the contents of that package, which they argue is privileged with doctor-patient confidentiality. So what's happening as a result of the hearing today, the DA's office is going to make a copy of the video, at least the video, that 10-hour video from the University of Colorado surveillance system. They're going to hand that over to the defense later this week. The defense will watch it and see if there's anything that should not be seen by the court itself. That's all part of some of the records that are sealed right now. So until that happens and the judge hears back from the defense whether or not there's contents in that video that shouldn't be seen by the DA's office, the judge did not rule on any other records being unsealed for the media to see yet, but he's going to hear that later. But we do know that felony complaint, the reason James Holmes was arrested and is being held, we should be accessing that document later today.